Alright, a beat for Central Cee, let's go. So typically with UK drill, the tempo is around 140 to 150. I'm gonna go somewhere between 146. Typically like to start off with drums actually when I'm doing drill. Just to like set the foundation and be able to work with the drums playing when I'm doing the actual instrumentation. So I'm doing 2 layers of these hi-hats just to add some depth. One is bright and up front. The other one is like adding some rhythmic flair to it in the background. Maybe this will work. I want like a rim shot as well. That type of like thin but very transient heavy rim shot I really like, because you can combine it with other sounds. So for one part of the track it could just be, and then you can add a heavier snare on a later part. And then when the drums come in here, I guess, when the verse and drums come in here, we get the snare on top. Also gotta take some of the low end out of this just to then add some high end, because the rim has plenty of like mid range and low end. Yep, I like this bounce for now. But yeah, let's start working on the melodic idea for this track. I want to create something dark and vibey, kind of like Band for Band or GBP in that vibe. Let's see what we can find. I want to start with maybe a pad actually. I kind of hear this pattern repeating and then the last 2 changing. So it kind of ends on a different vibe. Because just having the 2 chords for the entire song would be way too repetitive. Okay, so I have the direction. I'm gonna add a bunch of stuff to make it sound like a sample. If we just try to mute these things here, I want to like build the sample from scratch. And I'm basically just dragging in a bunch of reverse loops and textures until the whole thing sounds like a full sample. Maybe actually have it an octave down, because right now it's taking up too much space from the pad, and I still want the pad and the chords to be the main element of the sample. I want to add some more orchestral elements in here. Let's see. Cello, maybe. Let's just drag this over here and let's try working on some bass for the verse when the drums come in. I don't like the bass because it sounds a little bit too stretched, but the bo 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 glide sounds so cool. And I like the detail that some of Central Cee's productions has, where the 808s and bass are actually pretty sporadic. Like there aren't a lot of hits of the 808 and bass, which kind of builds a lot of anticipation for those hits. And I know that the low notes here are technically way too low, and it's not going to translate well to all systems, but I really think that could be a very heavy effect to use sometimes, because the 808 down there just sounds like mud and like but sometimes that's cool and stuff like this, because the vocals are still going to be the main element of the track. Alright, so let's work on this next part here. I want to have like a switch up vibe almost. Because if we just continue this like dark choir orchestral sample, it'll get a little bit boring for the entirety of the track, I think. So I'm switching the hi-hat here on the break before the hook, just because it goes back into the drill pattern afterwards. And this is a trick that I see used in a lot of drill production. For example, in GBP by Central Cee, sometimes the hi-hat switches up to a different pattern or a different sound, kind of switching the vibe a bit. We just lay down an idea for like an ascending melody on the bass here, just so it's... That sounds so dope. Hear the energy switch here. Actually, if you follow the previous section's hi-hat pattern with the rim shot of this, it might work. Something I hear done in drill a lot too, where they replace the hi-hat sound with a rim shot or a snare in different sections, can sometimes work really well. Yeah, okay, I think this part is done for now. It'll be interesting to see whether I strip some elements out or not when I get vocals on, but what I'm really aiming for here in this track is adding a lot of elements and just like blending everything together with proper EQing, reverb, all that stuff, just to get it sounding like a cohesive sample. But let's just take this part here, because I want to have a hook. I actually just noticed here that maybe the 808 glide should be moved to the middle 808 part. So we move it here. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is with vocals in mind, in all the switch ups and all the different hi-hat patterns and all that stuff needs to complement the vocal, or the vocal needs to complement that, depends on how you go about it. So yeah, we just need to master it and export it, and then we could send it out to artists. I'm gonna play the loudest part of the track, browse through mastering presets. Yeah, went for the louder preset since it sounds the best in my opinion. It sounds natural, closer to the original idea, but still a little bit more compressed and squashed than my beat idea. So let me play you guys the full beat. Really hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you want to see more videos of me cooking up, click this link right here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.